gatekeep all the local Vietnamese fashion brands I know you haven't heard of, and this is part 15 in my series. We're going to go through bridals, but specifically minimal brides. I got so many requests for this particular episode. I'm going to go through the different types of minimal that I believe brides are after if they're looking for something that has a lot more restraint. However, there are different lanes that I feel minimal brides will fall under. You have the structured minimal that's all about the clean lines and structured silhouettes. Romantic minimal where there is a lot more sheer, but it's still quite restrained. Editorial looks can still be considered minimal, so let's get into it. My credentials is that I travel full-time for a living and my hyperfixation is on niche fashion brands. I find that Nicole Bridal is very foreigner friendly, and their latest collection is very clean and very minimal. This is very classic bridal to me. However, I like that the high slit sort of gives it something a little bit different as well. You can add a bit more of a flare with this particular skirt add-on, and you can detach it, which I think is really nice. I would still argue that this is still quite minimal. I think it's got a very classic look as well. I don't know if including Chol Bridal is going to be a controversial take, because a lot of the designs I understand is very high drama, high fashion. However, I feel as though a lot of their collections also still lends itself to a very minimal bride if that's what you're looking for. I think this is perfect for the minimal bride who still wants a bit of that classic romance. The sculpted bodice, the fishtail, even the gloves that are styled here I think looks so beautiful for this. If you're going to go for minimal, you'd be more focused then on the shape or the fabric, and I think the way that this is designed looks so gorgeous for someone who's after something a little bit more pared back but still wants to be able to make an impact. This is very romantic, very refined. I know you might argue with me in the comments that this is not considered minimal. I don't know. I personally think that I still go for a more ceremonial look that's something more structured, and it's still considered quite pared back. I think there's a lot of modern restraint with this type of design, and I personally love the bodice. I think this is really good for someone who wants that minimal modern design that doesn't include a lot of lace. I love this particular off-shoulder one. It gives a very high editorial feel, and at the same time it's still very minimal. This brand does a lot of very chic looks and may not necessarily be bridal, but I find that the collection has a very editorial, minimal undertone. Something like this has a very sort of classic fabric, but at the same time some very interesting designs that are still very pared back. I think the detailing is so gorgeous, and whilst it doesn't scream bridal, I think you can definitely pull this off as a wedding outfit. This one has beautiful hand sculpted 3D hem, very Parisian, fashion-led type of mood and aesthetic. This column silhouette is so flattering. Again, I find that this is very minimal. It's got a very romantic undertone, and the sheer cape just gives it a very romantic feel as well. And gatekeep Vietnamese fashion brands I know you haven't heard of, so save this for your next trip and follow for more.